Thank you so much for your interest in CSP Control Center product demo. My name is Varusa Rautar. I'm a Partner Success Manager with CSP Control Center, aka C3. I help Microsoft CSP partners get the best value out of our product. In this demo, we are going to showcase the fine-grained product features that fuels billing automation, driving growth for hundreds of Microsoft CSP partners across the globe. CSP Control Center is the leading platform for automating Microsoft CSP license, Azure management, billing, invoicing, and payment collection. Let us start with the welcome page. Welcome page is one of the white label areas of C3, which partners can fully customize to represent their organization's branding. You can not only change the background logos, the images, the hyperlinks, you will also be able to execute all of these using the self-serve functionality available within the portal itself. Since C3 will be in sync with your Azure Active Directory, as a CSP partner or as a customer, the moment you use the C3 portal to log in, you will be able to use your Azure Active Directory credentials and you land on either the partner view or customer view based on your permissions. As soon as you log in, you land on this extensive dashboard. Right at the top, you will be able to see the number of customers that you have onboarded onto C3, the number of subscriptions in use, and the total number of seats in use under those subscriptions. If you happen to be an indirect provider, you will also be able to see the number of resellers you are managing through the C3 portal. Just below that, you'll also be able to see a profitability view, which will give you an information about your current CSP business for the last billing cycle. You will be able to see your cost in dollar value, the amount that you're billing to your customer, net profit in dollar value, and net profit in percentage. Post these, you will also be able to see additional data points which will help you understand the current trend patterns in terms of your overall CSP business, to understand who is your primary CSP business provider as a customer, which are the top SKUs, the number of seats purchased, so on and so forth. So right at the dashboard, you will get a brief understanding of your CSP business. Now let's talk about onboarding a customer and what are the necessary requirements in order to onboard a customer. So before we move ahead with the process of onboarding a customer, let's start looking at the first step, that is creation of a plan. A plan is nothing but a catalog of offers. Now this is where you will not only be able to define your catalog, you as a partner will also be able to define your margins along with that particular catalog. There are a couple of common ways how you can create a plan. However, one of the ways that I'm showing you right now would be to basically select and search and select respective offers manually, wherein if you would want to see a legacy offer, you would be able to conveniently do that right here. Just search using the offer name. It will display all the offers by that respective name. So I have the Office 365 E1 Legacy, and at the same time, I also have Office 365 E1 NCE. What we have also added here are these tags, which actually help you understand these offers and distinguish between these offers easily. So the term duration, the billing cycle, and the NCE tag, which will help you identify or make the differentiation between these offers. In order to add these offers into the plan, I just need to select this option, add. If I would want to add this with the add-ons, I can choose that as well. Along with that, if I would want to add just that respective offer, I can use that too. Let me also add Azure Plan. So we can take that as an example when we are considering the plan creation. So we have added the Office 365 E1 Legacy, Office 365 E1 NCE, and the Azure Plan as well. Now, once I have added all these, I will be able to see this in the review plan offers, and this is where I will be able to apply my margins. To make it easier, we have created these macros for you. The first will copy your cost as the sale price for all offers in that respective plan. The second will copy the retail price as the sale price. The third will allow you to add a percentage margin on your cost. The fourth will allow you to add a percentage margin on the markup, which is nothing but the cost difference between your cost and retail price. And the last and most commonly used one will allow you to apply a percentage based margin on the retail price. Now, regarding the last three macros where you're able to update a percentage based margin, it does not necessarily have to be a positive value. It can be a negative value as well, which will translate into a discount. Now, once you have decided your margin and once you've successfully applied that, this is getting applied only for the quantity based or license based offers. Now remember, we had also added Azure Plan, which will not reflect in this section. For that, we have to move to the second tab, which is usage-based offers. This is where you will be able to apply your margin for Azure Plan separately. Normally, we usually see most of the partners leaving this at 0%, since there is already a 15% partner earn credit. However, if you do want to add an additional margin or a discount to your customer, you will definitely be able to do that. Once you have created this plan, you can just save this. And once a plan is successfully saved and created, this is when you will be able to move to the second step of onboarding a customer. Now, in order to onboard a customer, you just need to use the option of add customer existing multiple. Select the provider as Microsoft, select your respective currency code, and select the plan against which you would want to onboard the customer. Once you select the plan, the system will display all the customers that you have on your partner center. You can either choose to onboard just one at a time, or you can choose multiple to onboard at the same time against this particular plan. All you need to do is submit, and all these customers will be onboarded against this plan. So whatever product catalog that you've defined in this plan, whatever pricing you've defined in this plan, that is what these customers will be able to see and experience. Once you have completed this process, the customer will be successfully onboarded onto the C3 platform. And this is where under the customers section, you will be able to manage these customers. So not only would you be able to update certain specific settings, you would also be able to manage their plans, which will help you in terms of deciding which plan you would want to apply. So in case if you would want to apply multiple plans against a single customer, you can do that. If you would want to apply the same plan against multiple customers, you can do that as well. There are no conditions into the as to number of plans that you can create. If you would want to create a plan per customer with custom pricing and custom catalog, you can also do that as well. Now, let us look at how this portal will be visible from the customer's perspective. So you as a partner will also be able to impersonate into customer's view. In order to do that, you need to use the quick impersonation button provided. Once you click on it, system will be able to show you all the users who currently have permission to the customer view. And if you would want as a partner, you can impersonate as any of the users or by default your permission. Once you land on the customer dashboard, this will look fairly similar to what we saw in the partner view. There are certain differences though. For example, you will be able to see additional tiles for Office 365 and Azure portal quick links. You will be able to see some additional data points from the customer's perspective. Along with that, if the customer has any sites and departments created, this is something which the customers can use to segregate their billing. Now, let me show you how the customer will be able to manage their existing licenses. In order to do that, they need to go to the product section. This is where they will be able to see their all the licenses that they have purchased, all the licenses that are getting actively used. So the customer will not only be able to see the name and the details of those licenses, they will also be able to see additional information. Similar to what we saw earlier, here as well, we have these tags which will help the customer distinguish between different subscriptions. Now, the customer will not only be able to see the name and the pricing of these particular offers, they will also be able to see the number of quantities currently in use, when it was ordered, when it is due for renewal, along with the validity, and most importantly, in case if your customer happens to use multiple tenants, then the system will also show which tenant is owning this respective license. In order to update the quantity or cancel a specific subscription, the customer can just click on manage. This will display the total number of licenses that they have, and it will also allow them to reduce or increase the quantity if required. Along with this, since this happens to be an NCE offer and our platform is compliant with the NCE guidelines, you will be able to see as a customer the cancellation policy and the proration defined by Microsoft. Along with that, in case if the customer happens to cancel this outside the cancellation window, system won't allow that cancellation to go through. Along with this, you will also be able to see the option to auto renew this offer. So you can check this box to allow the system to auto renew this offer at the time of the respective renewal. However, there is an additional option that you will be provided here, which will allow you to provide a new quantity. This will be used when the system auto renews this offer. System will be considering that new quantity to renew the respective offer. Now that we have seen how to manage the existing licenses, let me show you how is the purchase experience for the customer. In order to purchase a new product, the customer needs to go to the shop section. This is where they will be able to see all the offers that you have enabled for them in the plan. In case if there are any offers which do not reflect here, and if the customer wants to purchase that particular offer, which is not part of this particular catalog, the customer can simply reach out to you asking you to add that offer into the plan, and you will be able to edit an existing plan to add that, and that will immediately reflect here. Now, in order to make a new purchase, the customer just needs to locate their offer. They can either search using the offer name directly, or they can also use any of these filters provided to filter out their respective offers. Now, once the customer has located their offer, they can just click on add to cart. In cases where the customer is purchasing an offer which has add-ons as well, they will also be provided with an option of adding that respective offer with add-ons. If I choose to do this with the add-ons, all the add-ons will also be added into the cart. Now, the next step would be just to review the cart to confirm and finalize their respective order. So in case if the customer needs to make any quantity changes, they can still do that. Along with that, in case if they would want to make any quantity changes to the add-ons or disable them, the system will also be able to accommodate that. And the last point would be that in case if the customer happens to be using multiple tenants within their CSP profile, they will also be able to decide which tenant should own this respective offer. And the last step in this process would be just to place this order. Once the customer executes this order, system will provision all these licenses for them to use immediately. Now that we have understood how the customers can use the C3 platform to manage their existing licenses and make new purchases, let's understand how would they be able to leverage this for their billing purposes or further administration. So in the Microsoft section, the customers will have the users tab. This will be able to pull up all the active users part of the customer's active directory, and the system will be able to show you all the licenses that are assigned against those respective users. If you would want to change their password, if you would want to edit their user details, give them permission to the portal, or even delete that respective user, the customer can manage all that from the C3 platform itself. Just below that, we also have the Azure Estimate section. This will give a customer a detailed information about their Azure consumption. All the customer needs to do is just select the respective subscription, select the respective billing cycle, and just refresh this. System will populate all the Azure data, which will be detailed for them. By default, this will be visible in a resource group view. If the customer do need to expand this further, they can expand this at a respective service level, or if they would want to expand this further down to an instance level as well, the customer can do that. Along with this, the customer can also export this or download this data with or without tags. These are the same tags that the customer will be able to update on these resources from the Azure portal. The last report that we will see in the customer view is the license consumption report. This provides the customer with a quick summary of all the licenses that they have, the number of that licenses that are assigned, and the number of licenses which are unused. And in case if the customer wants to basically cancel all the unused licenses immediately, under the actions column, there will be a quick release button provided so that the customer can basically cancel that all those unused licenses. Again, just to reiterate that since we are compliant with the NCE guidelines, if the customer is trying to make these cancellation out of the NCE cancellation window, system unfortunately won't allow that event to happen. Now, the last section that we will review in the customer view would be the invoices. Now, this is where the customers will be able to see their invoices which are published, approved, finalized, and approved by the partner. The customer can click on those respective invoice number, and this is how a standard invoice will look like. You will be able to see the bill from and the bill to information. Invoice summary will contain the billing period, invoice date, due date, invoice number, and invoice amount. Just below that, in case if you are using the C3 platform to accept the payments from the customer, system will also reflect that if we have received any payment successfully from the customer for the previous billing cycle. Along with that, it will also show a detailed line item for all the consumptions that's happened in that respective billing cycle. So we have these categories created so that the invoice looks a lot more easier to understand for the customer and for you as a partner as well. So the one of the category would be the Microsoft Online Services Legacy. The other category would be for an Azure consumption. Then we have another category for NCE services. And one of the other categories that you are seeing here is the partner custom. This is something that you can create as custom offers within the C3 platform and add it into the plan so that the customer can purchase these and get billed accordingly. So in case if you happen to be providing monthly support to your customer, you can actually create a partner offer within C3, ensure that it is added into the plan. And once the customer purchases that, and if they are using your services, you will be able to bill them accordingly for that. As a partner, once we move back to the partner view, you will have some additional options, obviously. You will also be able to have the ability to add an adjustment that wherein you can either waive off a certain amount that will be providing a credit, or you can add an additional charge as well before you can finalize the invoice. And even in cases if the invoice is finalized, you will still be able to re-edit that and resend it to the customer. Now, let's stop impersonation and let us quickly go back to the partner view where we will be able to see some additional reports and the data that you will be able to use to understand your CSP business. Under the Analyze Business section, you will be able to see the same summary that we saw on the dashboard, but this will be far more detailed at individual customer level. If you would want to expand any of those customers to understand their consumption, you will also be able to do that. And you will also be able to review their invoices and their respective subscription history. At the same time, in case if the customer has made any payments or not for any of those invoices, you will also be able to review and validate that in the invoices and dues section. The last would be the subscription history section. Now, this is how we basically push data to multiple PSAs. So we do have integration available with multiple PSAs. Right now, you're seeing an example of auto task integration. Similarly, we do have integration available with ConnectWise Manage, QuickBooks Online, and other service providers as well. So in these situations, what the system does is that the system records the subscription history, which is nothing but all the additions. Any changes, any quantity changes that happened, it will be able to record what was the original quantity and what is the new quantity. At the same time, if there has been a new purchase, system will also record that, along with the fact that if there has been any pricing change, if there has been any status change, all these will be recorded by the system, along with who executed that change and the date and time of that respective activity. And this is the data that will be pushed to your respective PSAs. Once you initiate the integration of your PSA with the C3 platform, for the first time use, you will have to complete the mapping. And once you are able to successfully complete the mapping of the respective customer and the contracts, you will then be able to complete the mapping for the products. And once this is done for the first time around, then you will be able to follow the secondary process, which will be just to validate this data and upload this data into your respective PSA. Now let us go back to the reports that you as a partner will be able to use. So there are multiple options provided. So you will be able to see a license summary report, Azure usage report, license change report, which will give you an information about all the changes that has happened within the customer environments. Then under the Microsoft section, you'll also be able to see the users section, wherein you can manage the respective users for all your customers. You will also be able to see the Azure Estimate, which will allow you to use the Azure consumption, analyze the Azure consumption for your customers. Then you will also be able to manage the Azure subscription for your customers. Now, besides all these self-serve functionality and the reporting and the billing tools that we have available within the C3 platform, we also have some additional features that will be extremely useful for you as a partner and for you as a customer as well. So we have a fairly robust email notification system wherein you can define or create a new email notification per customer and per event as well. So system will be able to list out all the events for which an email notification can be triggered. For example, the first one here, which is for a product purchased successfully, you will be able to define the recipients if that needs to be an individual, a shared mailbox, or a distribution list, or if that needs to be a billing contact listed in the C3, or any one of the users who have permission in the partner view or your customer view. Now this is how the preview of this email will look like. So it will contain the user who executed this change, name of the customer, the offer, the quantity, the price, and the status of that respective purchase. So not only the email notification system will, the C3 is also, we also have audit log, a comprehensive audit log available within the C3. Using this, you will be able to review every single transaction that's happened within the C3. Now, every time an activity is performed within C3, system will be able to record that. It will also be able to tell you who executed that change. And in case if that happens to be a specific action which requires additional detail in terms of the respective offers as well, system will be able to provide you that detail as well. So who executed this change? In case if this was impersonated by someone, if one of the partner impersonates one of the users to execute that, system will also be able to show you who was the impersonator in this particular scenario. With that, we will be concluding this demonstration. Please feel free to reach out at info@spectrasystems.com. Should you have any questions regarding C3, all will like to schedule a one-on-one product demo.